I would say that things have looked bleak for the rise of Skywalker from the beginning. Actually, that's probably an understatement. Even a competent writer would have had problems fixing the mess left behind by Rian Johnson. But we don't really have a competent writer, now do we? We have mystery box J.J. Abrams, and he shares much of the blame too. He set forth a path, along with Kathleen Kennedy, and continued by Rian Johnson, to not only kill off the original cast in the most head-scratching of ways, but he also gave us the wooden plank trio that were at the center of this new nightmare formerly known as Star Wars. Nobody is excited about these new characters, which are centered around what is perhaps the biggest Mary Sue the Hollywood industry has ever created, and considering the last few years, that's saying a lot. It seems that this film has been nothing more than an unending panic attack for everyone involved from the word go. It doesn't help that JJ already doesn't know how to end things. I mean, who could forget that ending to Lost? Rumors of constant reshoots going into the 11th hour have given us all a big laugh, not to mention the reported multiple endings, none of which appear to have gone over very well in test screenings. We've also had actors deliberately trying to distance themselves from The Last Jedi, probably in hopes that old school Star Wars fans will give Disney Star Wars a second chance. Good luck with that. General interest in this film is almost non-existent. There was a time, well, as recently as 2 years ago, that a new Star Wars film would have been the movie event of the year. Now only a few days away from the film's release, and nobody seems to care. You needn't have bothered getting your tickets weeks in advance, like you did with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, because most showings this weekend are still open, and theater chains must be getting a bit worried by now. Everything about this film seems to have disaster written all over it. It might not flop as badly as Solo, because the normies will still go see it, but this is a film that should have easily made $2 billion. There isn't a chance in hell of that happening now. Disney now seems to be focused on avoiding a complete disaster. Well, Disney and Lucasfilm, whatever happens, you did it to yourselves. Then, earlier today, it seems that hell has frozen over as Scott Mendelson of Forbes seems to have joined the fandom menace. After 2 years of denial, has our formerly favorite professional internet troll finally come to his senses and left the dark side, or are things with this upcoming dumpster fire even worse than we thought? Here's a little tweet that he put up this morning. At worst, I expected The Rise of Skywalker to be a well-made movie that I didn't like or whose story choices I disagreed with. I was not expecting a genuinely bad movie with video game plotting, thin characters, weak action, and endless exposition of no consequence. Heartbreaking. Well, that's quite the indictment. I wonder how well this is going over at Disney. I keep asking this question. How did Disney manage to completely destroy one of the biggest franchises of all time in only 4 short years? You couldn't make this story up. 7 years ago, you paid just over $4 billion for the franchise. It was a cultural institution. Even the lackluster episodes 1 and 2 didn't stop its momentum. This should have been a license to print money. So what have we learned here, Disney? For starters, perhaps you should have given a bit more scrutiny as to who was running this thing. Did you really think identity politics was going to bring in droves of new fans? I would tend to think that you didn't actually do any market research before proceeding. You managed to destroy this franchise with one movie. Did you really think that insulting Star Wars' primary fan base with feminist and social justice propaganda was going to go over well? Did you think destroying the original characters was going to go over well? Did you really think the disjointed and absurd storytelling was going to go over well? Did you really think that not firing Kathleen Kennedy, even though she's little more than a figurehead now, was going to go over well? You made your own bed, Disney, and now you have to lie in it. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and check your subscription and notification status because YouTube is being shady on these things lately. And follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching. Solo lost money, and have a great day.